You don't touch that. Hi guys, what is up? Today I am talking about macros. He's being very inappropriate. He's not hugging me. He's doing other things. But anyway, so macros. I'm not going to talk about like how to calculate them or specifics about macros or anything like that because I'm still very new to the whole macro thing. But in terms of macros, I'm just going to share my past experience with it, what I've learned, you know, my general experience with it. So, if you can't afford a macro coach, because I understand it can be a little expensive, I have heard Katie Hearn's macro calculator is one of the best ones online. But you can just Google macro calculator and there's all sorts of things available online that can help set, I guess, a baseline for you. Now, I've tried that in the past and every single calculator has been different. And so it's been hard to really know what's right for me. So to give you a little background on my experience with it, back in, I think it was late April or May, I actually hired a macro coach. And I did so because I wanted to finish my first fitness year strong. I was still very much in a plateau and just not seeing progress, and I knew my diet was the issue, and I was like, all right, let me invest in a coach and see if they can help me just finally start seeing progress again. And she was great, but honestly, I just was not ready. I was not ready to commit to the challenges that is macro counting. He's gonna come join me. There's my dog. There he is. First and foremost, understand macros are not for everyone. They certainly were not for me at first, and I'm still not sure they are for me because I'm only a week into recounting macros. So, but I'm feeling very hopeful and motivated to make it work this time. Macros can be challenging, tricky, frustrating. They can feel restrictive and limited and complicated. I know people who have struggled with macros because they just feel like it's obsessive and the lifestyle just doesn't fit them. And I get it because I was there once and I might be there again shortly. I don't know. But this past week was very eye-opening for me and I learned a lot, and I definitely feel like it's something I can stick to help me start reaching my goals, especially since my first week was so successful. So back in May, I hired my coach. I did okay. It was like an 8-week thing. I did okay. I did okay for like the first 3 weeks. I didn't hit my macros perfectly. I was still learning. I didn't know how to hit them. I didn't really know how to track them properly. And so I didn't succeed for the 8 weeks. I gave up, essentially. You know, life got a little complicated and I just wasn't ready mentally. And so a few months go by, my diet just declines. I gain a little bit of weight, but it's nothing I was concerned with at all. Because I was working out regularly, the weight gain wasn't coming on really quickly. I knew I still had a problem. I was like, why can't I get over my compulsive eating behaviors, you know, not eating right, binging at times. And so that's why I tried vegan. I went vegan for about 3 months, I believe. And at first I did really well. I was so for the first few weeks I did great, and then I found vegan things I could eat in excess, and it just led to old habits. And then I tried the vegetarian Whole30, and while I did that, I definitely felt my best I've felt in a long time, but I was essentially on a raw diet, and it wasn't something I could sustain fasting for a long time. Please stop. And then Hurricane Matthew hit, and I had to be prepared for the worst. And so I was like, I'm just gonna take a break from Whole30, get processed foods, because I think that's, you know, what I need to be prepared for. And also that weekend I was supposed to go on a cruise with a bunch of BBG girls, but because of the hurricane it was canceled, and we ended up going to a beach resort instead, and that was great. But for that weekend I was just like, no Whole30, just gonna eat how I'm gonna eat. And then during that weekend, one of my dear friends came all the way from Australia. Her name is Emma. MWizFit is her Instagram and Snapchat handle. She is the most knowledgeable person on macros that I know. She's the one who is currently helping me out, and with her guidance I feel comfortable with my decisions in doing this. She's got a tough love, brutally honest kind of approach, but that's what I need, honestly. She is very dedicated and consistent, and has seen incredible results herself, and she's incredibly knowledgeable. So you definitely want to go follow her for true macro advice. Really what I want to show here is just my experience, how I track and plan for the day, and how I measure my food out and prepare a meal, essentially. But Emma, she is definitely your go-to girl when it comes to macros. And so yeah, go connect with Emma. She is the macro queen. So prior to starting last week, I had a really terrible binge week. I had old habits surface that were rather scary. Just eating endlessly, eating whatever, whenever I wanted, and not really taking into account to what was going in my body. And it was scary. I was like, this is not okay behavior. I need to change. That leads up to last week, when I decided to start truly macro counting, giving it my best effort, and giving it an honest go. So in my first week of counting macros, well, let me back up for a second. When I intuitively eat, I probably eat close to 3,000 calories, which is way over my maintenance limit. So naturally I'm eating in a surplus. Naturally, I'm not going to lose weight. My goal right now is fat loss. I will not share my specifics because they are designed for me. Emma, help me. Oh my gosh. Here's my doggy for you all. He's kind of crazy. So now I'm going to show or share with you how I calculate and plan for a day or a week of macros. I use MyFitnessPal. I bought the advanced version, I guess, because if you don't, then you can only calculate your macros in percentages, and it's less accurate than having the gram version. So I think it's like $50 a year to upgrade it to that, but it's well worth it because understanding and calculating in grams is vital to making macros a success. I will walk you through my day today, how I track my food and how I plan for the day, and how I use MyFitnessPal, and how I make a meal, essentially. One of the biggest things Emma told me, and a lot of the reason why macros didn't work in the past for me, was because I was so reluctant to weighing my food. I was like, I do not want to weigh my food. That is completely obsessive. That is just annoying. I don't want to. But she was like, you have got to weigh your food because that leaves less margin for error. It makes it more accurate, because if you think about it, and I can do a quick demonstration, if you just like measure a cup of oats, 1 cup of oats versus the very next cup of oats you measure out could be 2 completely different weights, and it's that weight that matters. ensure you are accurately tracking. And so weighing out your food is really the only way to make sure you are staying on target and on track for your day. It's annoying, but you get used to it, and if you do it smartly, you can plan ahead. So for like breakfast, I do oatmeal a lot of the times. I am kind of getting tired of oatmeal, so I'm going to try to plan something just as quick and convenient for next week that is just as easy as oatmeal. Oatmeal is great because you can weigh it ahead of time and just have it all prepared to grab and go for work or school or whatever. Alright, so I'm going to show you my FitnessPal now. What I planned for breakfast and what I planned for lunch, and I should plan dinner just to stay on track. So I'll show you how I plan dinner. I got Dough Bar donuts in the mail yesterday, and I knew I wanted them for breakfast, so I went ahead and put in 2 with the puppy chow topping because that sounded delicious. And weirdly enough, I've been craving veggie sausage, which is very strange for me. So I got some veggie sausage and egg whites and cheese and had a very delicious and filling breakfast. I've also been craving tortellini, which is kind of weird. It's easy to overeat pasta. But I really don't eat pasta that much. I do get really strange cravings for it sometimes. Pesto is my go-to sauce, but pesto has so much fat. So my macro hack for today is I'm putting my tortellini in some veggie soup. A pre-made veggie soup because lazy. And then I'm gonna have salad to fill up on volume veggies, and greens are important too. Been having a lot of pancakes lately, so yeah, I'll show you my FitnessPal really quickly, and then I'll show you how I prepare my lunch. It's 3:30 almost now, and I'm just eating lunch, but I had a later breakfast. So I'll show you how I weigh that all out, and that it's really not that hard. It takes a little time, it takes a lot of planning and a little effort, but it's doable, I promise. My first week of doing macros religiously and having my friend Emma help, I wasn't super consistent, but I was very dedicated, and I put a lot of effort into doing it, and I lost 2.4 pounds. So it really was motivating enough for me to be like, all right, this works, I'm gonna keep going. So I am excited to stay on track this weekend and next week, and hopefully my next weigh-in is as exciting because these macros feel really good, and I don't want to go down on calories yet, but if I don't lose weight, down the calories go. But yeah, so basically with macros, you have your carbs, your fats, your proteins, and those determine your calories. So you don't have to hit them perfectly. That's close to impossible. But just do the best you can. You know, it's not going to be perfect all the time, and that's okay. It really is okay. Last weekend was Halloween weekend. I binge drank a lot. So I underate, but I overdrank. So my macros weren't perfect last Saturday. And then Sunday I underate, which isn't good either. It's important to just get right back on track. And then the rest of the week I did really pretty good, staying on track. But for macros and eating well to work really well, you need to be very consistent all the time, not just part of the time. So anyway, I'm gonna show you my FitnessPal, my FitnessPal, and yeah. All right, so here's my well, that's my lunch. Here's my breakfast. So there you see I had, whoa, how do I go? Okay, 2 donuts. I got the Dough Bar donuts, and I wanted 2 because weekend, and treat yourself with the toppings. Don't forget to add the toppings. See, they add up. And then I've been craving veggie sausage, strangely enough. So I had veggie sausage, egg whites, and some cheese to go with it. And like I said, I've been craving tortellini, so to make tortellini work, I went ahead and put that in. I found the lowest carb tortellini I could at the store because pasta has a lot of carbs. And then there's my veggie soup I'm gonna put it in. It's pre-packaged container. And then I've got lettuce, peppers, and salad dressing to go with it. Dinner I haven't planned yet. This is what I want to show you, my nutrition. Okay, so I have 55 grams of protein, 88 grams of carbs, and 25 grams of fat left for my day. So I'm gonna go to dinner, and I spend so much money on food. I'm just gonna try to use what I have at home. One thing I know I have that is full of protein is fat-free cottage cheese. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 6 ounces of that. See where I stand on protein. I still have 33 grams of protein I need to hit, 81 grams of carbs, and 25 grams of fat. Normally I would have pancakes because those help hit those macros really well, but I've had pancakes the past 3 days and I'm kind of pancaked out. So I'm gonna go see what I have in my pantry and what will satisfy the rest of those macros for the day. Alright, so I have some Siggi's yogurt, which is high protein. I know I have one in here somewhere. There it is. So I'm just gonna add that. I'll make sure I eat that one. And then I also have this rice. So I'll probably just have 1 serving of rice. As you can see, 1 cup is 140 grams. So, and make sure I weigh out on my scale, and I will have some of that. So we will look up. Actually, let's just go ahead and scan this in because that's quicker. There we go. And as you can see, 1 cup, 140, it all matches. So I'm gonna add that. So now let's see where we stand. So I still have 12 grams of protein, 28 carbs, and 22 grams of fat I need to hit. So I'll add probably more egg whites because that's just an easy protein for a vegetarian. And we'll go ahead and do just 100 grams. I don't want a ton. And there, look, I just hit my protein goal. So I still need, oh, I'm over in protein, yes. Actually, that's fine. So I still need 26 grams of carbs and 22 grams of fat. So that means I can probably have ice cream. So let's add in this ice cream thing I've been eating. It's high in saturated fat, don't mind that. So I still need 9 carbs and 13 grams of fat. What am I going to eat? Oh, that means I can probably have a little more tortellini. So let's make this like 1 1/4 servings. And that adjusts the, well, it should adjust the grams, but it didn't, but I can calculate that. So now that I added a little more tortellini for lunch, I'm still so close. I can probably have a little more cheese at dinner. Oh, I didn't add cheese at dinner. How can I get more fat? I can probably add just a little more of this. So let's do 1 1/3. Sorry, this is not focusing very well. So that means more tortellini for me. Yay! And I'm still kind of low in fat, but It's not a perfect example. It's not a perfect day. Actually, to make protein come down and make it a little more even, I can bring this down. See, this is why planning is important, so you can make sure you hit those targets appropriately. And then, so since I need fat, what has a lot of fat? We can go here, see fat. Highest in fat is that, my ice cream bar. Nothing I can really add more to. I can add, I've just been adjusting a lot of different things. As you can see, I'm over by 6 grams in protein, but protein's the one thing I'm okay being over in. And you can be up to 5 grams over or under in your different macro categories. So 6 grams, it's all right. 1 gram and then 2 under in fat. So what I did was I realized my tortellini was set on cups instead of ounces, so I changed the serving size from cup to ounce. And then I just played around with these ounces to see how much I could get that helped target my different macro categories. And then I had egg whites listed for dinner, but that put my protein way over, so I got rid of the egg whites. But now you can see I have a very random dinner. But as you can see, I'm super close to my macros, so I might just leave it and just go with it because I am eating a late lunch. I'm not going to be all that hungry for dinner, I don't think, so I really probably will just stick to that because it fits. That's how I use my FitnessPal. That's why planning is so important. It's a lot of guess and checking. You know, you have to, like, if you want something, go ahead and add that in because you're like, oh, I just know I really want donuts and I really know I want tortellini pasta. So go ahead and add those in and then just have everything else kind of revolve around what matches those sort of things and helps hit your macros. And make sure after you add stuff or like add a meal that you go check your nutrition and see where you're falling and where you need to make up in certain categories. So that way you can plan for your other meals accordingly. Okay, so I got my water boiling and my scale and a bowl. And I have my FitnessPal opening. Come on. I listed 5 ounces of tortellini. All right, so I just turn my scale on. You have it set to ounces, and I just pour. And it adds up so quickly. Come on, this is hard to do with one hand. So 5 ounces, that's a lot of tortellini, you guys. I'm excited. All right, so almost there. One more. See, 1 put it over, but I'm not gonna worry about that 0.1 over. There you go. There's my tortellini. Now I'm gonna cook it. This is my soup. I'm putting it in, just pre-packaged because, again, lazy. So when the tortellini's done cooking, I'm going to put it in the soup. Alright, so my tortellini is already done. It took no time at all. I do not measure out lettuce. Sorry, Emma, because it's lettuce. Like, there's nothing to it. But I do measure out my peppers. Whoops. Maybe, if my scale were on. So I'll just go a little under. Plan 3 ounces of peppers. And you get the point. Alright, so I adjusted my peppers in my FitnessPal to be 2 ounces instead of 3. And now I'm going to add 2 ounces of cheese, as I have planned. This cheese. And then 3 ounces of dressing. It's really hard with one hand. but as you can see, it adds up super quickly. Now that I even have 2 ounces of cheese. Almost there, yeah, I should have enough. Slowly add it. And then I'll do the same, there we go. And then I'll do the same with my dressing. There you have it, guys. That's kind of how I tackle macros, all weighed and measured out. This kind of looks like throw up, but I know it's gonna be delicious regardless. So yeah. So there you have it, you guys. I hope this was somewhat helpful and informative. I know I'm not the most concise person when it comes to talking about these different things. I'd much rather write stuff out than talk stuff out because I can have more fluid thoughts and process things better. So hopefully with time I'll get better at describing these things, and as I learn more I can be more educational and more informative, but right now I just don't know enough because I'm still learning about macros. But again, if you're interested in macros and you want help, my friend Emma is amazing, or just research. I did a lot of research myself. So anyway, my food's gonna get cold, and let me know if you, what else you want to see. So like, subscribe, comment, and until next time. Are you being a naughty doggy? Are you being a naughty doggy? You are. Yes, you are. You naughty doggy, you. You're so naughty. You're so naughty, but look how cute and sweet and precious that face is. Oh my gosh. All right. Bye, guys. My battery's gonna die.